All right, folks, welcome on back here this Thursday. Now I can finally say it is correctly Thursday, December 14th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Kathleen, Robert, Linda, Brian, and a few more of us just joining us inside our live trading room. And great to have you back. Otherwise, on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. So I know that Fausto just finished up an introductory to day trading webinar. Just stay tuned on YouTube for that. I'm sure we'll look to launch a premiere video for that replay, if not later on tonight, then tomorrow. So just make sure that you're subscribed right there on YouTube at Cyber Trading You for that. Got a full glass of water. Very nice. We'll be good to go for this meeting. So with that said, folks, just give me a quick chat back inside our live trading room here. Just let me know that you could hear me not just loud, but clear. I thought there was a small little issue earlier. Had to pull the plug, reset. Good to go, though, I believe. Mark, Gary, John, Phil. Perfect. All right, cool. So, hey, right now, actually, really quick, I was seeing another small issue. One moment here, folks. On social media right now on YouTube. Let me get that. Ooh, looks like we're having a little issue right now, actually, on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Are we good now? I think that we should be good across all ends here, correct? Yeah, there we go. All right, very nice. All right, so third time's the charm there. But hey, ESPR up 26%. Let's actually talk about the stock on the screen to begin. Markets pulled back earlier today. We'll talk about that next. But man, this made a nice push up earlier this morning before the market had opened up, in pre-market that was. And this really was a bit frustrating if you didn't look at the daily chart. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you happen to see the move up here, looked pretty strong, popped up over 2, moved up as high as 225, and hey, at a minimum, you'd look to expect resistance to become support. So even on a slight pullback, perhaps to see maybe a higher low building, and then from there, big drop, whatever it may be. This did not hold support at all. It just came right back down. And honestly, there wasn't really much of a sign to see that coming in advance. There wasn't really a big iceberg order out there at all. It only showed up after the fact here. But even otherwise, there's no big volume that got filled here off the top that can give you that signal. So what gives? Well, look back on the daily chart. This stock is a gap fill, and from pre-market this morning, this was so. Regular session high the day is like 196. I think that is right there, but otherwise 216 was the high back from March 16th, and essentially this made a false breakout right off the top there to try and fill the gap. Made a pop and drop, and that was that there early in pre-market, but since the stock has made a good little comeback, it ended up crawling back up off the lows, and we didn't really focus on it up until really like here around 1 o'clock Eastern time, a little after, broke higher from this point, 185, and that's where we were looking to see support hold, roughly around 187, 188. It's been chipping away there pretty much since. We were calling it out beforehand, so did a good job at first. Pushed up towards the high, but then even with this iceberg order getting pulled at $2, big ceiling actually got pulled up top at 2. Even with that, this did not end up making that big break higher. So, that's where you got to be a little careful right now. It's definitely got a good spread, good order book. Don't get me wrong, like really tight book, large orders out there collectively. That means it's like more of a safer stock, more of a level one stock. Hey, history could repeat itself, though, and I mean that in the sense of the big shake. Even with that liquidity out there, it's definitely better to have it than to not. It will help the stock from making this exact shakedown again. But even on a smaller scale, don't be surprised if this fails to break higher. This might look to make a small little 9-10 cent shakedown pretty fast. So hey, I'll add this to our list, ESPR. See if this can keep going. So we'll take a look at the SPY right now next, just markets all together. Wow, pretty strong bounce back up actually since like 2 p.m. So where I last checked in myself, I came back to my desk just a little before this meeting started. I ended up making a big drop in Dow, S&P, etc. Everything was breaking lower at the time for as much as we pumped up yesterday and the day before. That's not too surprising. Well, even at that, ended up seeing a nice slingshot back up and, hey, over 470, 471-ish. That area that we were mentioning back from late 21, just from yesterday, we were talking about that area. So nice to see this here heading into the afternoon. Well, maybe there's going to be a couple trades that will, hold strong or maybe even just breaking new highs right now at this type of bounce. So let's go across the gainers and losers list. Let's see if there's anything else looking pretty good. Wow, this T-pick trade really since the time the market opened up is held strong. One thing I wanted to mention was like, hey, for as much experience as someone like Fausto has, and myself or any one of us in the room, like Leda or Grant, Kathleen, Phil, longtime CTU students I'm talking to, that hey, you want to start with the stocks that were moving going into the open. So that's where we'll talk about C4, CCCC, that is. But when the market did open up today, Fausto had called out this T-pick. Well, hey, after the first 15, 20 minutes, I'll tell you what, after we finish up with the watch list at first, then we start moving around a bit. And there was plenty to take on this trade after you finished up with the C4 stock that was on our watch list. So, you get the best of both worlds there, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself right when the market opens. So with that said, still holding strong, higher lows at least, needs to make the higher high. Yeah, I'll add this to our list here now. T-pick, good volume on the book, cheap, much like the ESPR. I got a couple of these like below $1. I got to kind of skip over those, weed through those a bit. IMMX comparing apples to oranges here in terms of liquidity, like not really looking that great on the order book. So I'm going to pass there. STTK, another pop on this one from yesterday. But again, pretty similar to that last one there. Pretty skimpy volume on the order book. It popped up pretty nicely earlier today, and it's trying to make a second win type move now. I guess I'll come back to this just at the tail end if you want me to, but not putting it on the main list just yet. Keep it going. So what else we got? CDXS, nice little push on this one. Decent volume, checks out pretty good. A couple iceberg orders on the sell side might want to be aware of there. Might have a tough time breaking higher with those there. I'll come back to this at the end still. I like the other two, the T-pick, the ESPR even more first. HYRU, Canon. This is actually a Bitcoin mining stock. Another one. GOTU. All right, so easily enough, we're going to add this to our list once again because, hey, it's at the highs. It's trending back up heading into the mid-afternoon here. Nice little move back up from 450, and, it's still going. So definitely going to keep a good eye on this here heading into the afternoon. The thing is on this one also, actually, this is the top right here. So once it breaks this, then the gap fill will continue. This was back from March of this year. Topped off at 516, the price, and then fell back down. But before that, let me get my data correct here, make sure I have the chance to show you here. This stock, and we always say with EDU and TAL, these Chinese education companies, they had a massive gap down back in 21. And it was back when the China government ended up like looking to turn these companies nonprofit. Now, to be transparent with you, I don't remember the end of that story as far as at least like, what ultimately happened to these companies if they ended up going nonprofit or if that was just, what they wanted to do and it got denied. Honestly, I didn't dip my hand into the news there. Really, ever since that gap down, they only continued to drop off over time. So hey, at this stage, we're going to follow the chart more than we do the news. I mean, we do that anyway, and we follow the big money more than we do the charts. So, with saying that, we're going to put this on our watch list. Nice trend, some good liquidity out there. And as I slowly roll my daily chart back to present day, there we go. Let's break open book map for this trade here, see what we got on the order book on the heat map for this one. So it just broke over resistance here, a little extra resistance at 460 from earlier today. Hey, there's definitely volume out there. This is a liquid trade. So it's not as if there's no sellers out there. You got some at 65, some at 68, etc. But your next big resistance, if resistance gets flipped into support here, then you're looking at $5, right? So yeah, easily enough, I'm going to add GOTU, got you to our main list. We'll take a look at TAL. It's up 5%, but it's not really moving as good. And then the EDU trade, really, it's actually negative on the day, down on the day, actually. So they're not all moving in tandem, but that's fine. We don't need to. We don't need to trade all of them anyway. We say it with the crypto stocks. You don't need to call out Riot when Mara is moving. You don't need to call out Mara when CLSK. They're likely to be moving together. But, if you go through them and realize that they're not all in tandem, then just throw them right out right away. All right, run has been on a run, obviously pun intended, since yesterday, and big gap up this morning from pre-market, then popped at the open there. So, very volatile stock in a good way. Liquid, tradable, still within our price range. Trending back up a little bit here, although it's not exactly near the high of the day just yet. It has a little ways to go to get back up there. And you could even see from the matrix, looking at my level 3 here, 18 is a pretty damn big level, looking at that volume histogram. So, you know what? It doesn't hurt us to add run to our list. I kind of think of it, though, as like CDXS, that stock from before. I'll actually get back to this here at the end. I want a stock that's actually a little bit closer to said highs, like Charge Point. Hey, there we go. CHPT, more easy for me to at least slip this on our list here at this point, only a few pennies off from the high of the day. I have a feeling that Fausto is tuning into this meeting too, so I know this is one of his favorites from the open. We got to add it for the man himself there, right? All right, so what else we got, though? If there's anything else looking good, maybe like a Rivian that was moving earlier, a little more volatile stock, but up like 13%, pretty much near the highs too. So hard to ignore Rivian. Tesla, obviously, and TSLL, which is actually up more than 5% here. I like Rivian and ChargePoint a lot more. Maybe Plug if you take a look at the other EV, maybe fuel cell type stocks. But this has a gap fill also over time that it may look to continue filling. But uh, this is a little slow poke this stock for me here, Plug. It's your prototypical level 1 stock as we categorize it in our classes. So if you're looking to make 5 cents on the trade, this is for you. If you're looking to make 20, 30 cents on the trade, I don't think this is for you. It's as simple as that. So, I'd rather follow the Got You. I'd rather follow ChargePoint, even Rivian, obviously. And, there could be more. Could be one or two out there more. Brian looking at IO and Q. Take a look. Well, pretty volatile. And again, I mean that in a good way. Volatile is not a bad word, folks. It's not a curse word. Um, IO and Q ended up making a pretty good push earlier today. I mean, really strong pop from 14 up to 15 nearly, and then back down, round trip, and then now back up 50 cents. So the fact that this has a really good order book, very liquid, tight spread, that makes it a lot easier for me to, put this on our main list. But there might be a lot that can make a similar move to IO and Q. So, if there's anything else looking good, folks, just begin to type it in now on the chat board. I'll actually take a look back at the chat as we finish up in just a bit. I want to keep going through the gainer side here first, see if there's anything else looking good. I saw Lucid, LCID. I saw you around here, Lucid. Where'd you go? There we go. This is way too flat, way too slow for me. INVZ from yesterday. We traded this yesterday and the day before. Another pop this morning. Still making higher lows, but not really doing it for me right now either. EBIX, that's below $1. Okay, so there was one more, LQR. LQR also from yesterday was a stock to be traded all throughout the morning into the afternoon. I don't know what this company does. LQR House Inc. is the name, but hey, it's up 17%. It's at the highs. We like that part, but we don't necessarily like the big spread for how cheap this stock is. That's like you're rolling the dice. No need to really trade that. And to go back really briefly to C4. Well, why were we so why were we such a fan of trading C4 earlier today and yesterday, of course? Well, again, compare the order book. I don't think this has been on more than a 2-cent spread throughout any point of the day today. Watch, it'll open up right now. No, but earlier today, yesterday, this was 100% tradable, and this made like an 800% move. So you got to know when to pick and choose, those high flyers. I mean, I'd rather trade this or from earlier at least. Not as much now. So yeah, C4 I think is done. I think that's ran its course here at this point. Flavor of the week perhaps, and we'll kind of drop it from this point. Uh, got you still pushing up higher, so I like that already. We have a good list. Let's see if there's anything looking good on the loser side here at this point, though, and then we'll call it. Gonna weed through the ones that are hard to borrow, actually. Maybe I'll take a look at this one, RPHM, only because it's down more than 50%. I mean, hell, it's down over 80% right now, and had popped up pretty nicely earlier today. A little dead cat bounce from 110 up to like near 170, but I don't even think we had called this one out too much earlier, to tell you the truth. Like, it'd be easy for me to lie and say, yeah, yeah, we traded this. But I don't think that we actually even called it out. I'll just do a search through the chat board. RPHM. Nope, not even Rich called this out. Not even a student, not Rich, not myself, no one. So that means, hey, there's going to be stocks that move without you because you're going to be you're going to be focused on a stock like C4 earlier today, or Got You, or Rivian, or whatever the case. You're not going to be able to trade them all, right? Now at this point, I feel like this is more done now than ever. Just typically these dead cat bounces, short squeezes, they'll make a small little move up at first, then they'll die quick. All right, then I'll tell you what here, not to sound lazy, I'm really going through the motions. It's not just the fact that, I mean, there's actually a decent amount that is easy to borrow, but I don't really see too many that were like name brand stocks that, obviously we're in such a bullish market here of late. There's not going to be really much that sticks out on the loser side here. BCYC, nah. All right, Brian says probably everything going to be nickels and dimes the rest of the day. Perhaps. I mean, given how much we did move up yesterday, the day before, even if we close today positive, I mean, that would be pretty impressive. But just otherwise, I would be more on Brian's side there, not really looking for a home run, especially for a name brand stock. If like a Rivian, IO, and Q, etc. Even I wouldn't really get too crazy on those with them being on our list. But for a stock like T-Pick or Got You that has the gap fill opportunity, or ESPR, same exact thing there. Those are going to be kind of on their own. Those are going to be kind of on their own, making their own moves, regardless of whatever the market's doing at the time. So just keep that in mind at least. Now, just before we finish up, let me just take a look right now on Benzinga Pro, and alongside that, our YouTube chat, see if there's anything else that is looking good altogether here. All right, so LQR, we said that. We actually got a few on our side list we'd go back to, right? We said we'd go back to Run and CDXS and one more there. So it's starting to tighten up a little bit, the spread. Now it's like a 2-cent spread. Order book doesn't look that terrible, right? It doesn't look bad. And a selling point, if anything, could be the fact that the stock dropped off from like 30, dating back to October time, even, or late September, all the way down to perhaps even that is sub 1, right? Yeah, but you're saying sub 1. So, you know what? At this point, I'll kind of add LQR. CDXS. CDXS. There we go. This is moving up again too. It's still pushing up here pretty nicely, so I'll add this here as well. I'm in a giving mood here today to our list. Run, I mean RUN, doesn't really seem like it has as good of a shot of blasting over 18. Tried a couple times already. It seems like this could be at another lower high. So I'll pass on this at least for now. It's tradable, but maybe by 315, 330, if there's nothing else looking good from this list, and then this is still kind of hanging around here, you can give it a shot. And then the last one that we had, STTK. Not really a fan of the order book. I like that we got really a big list before this one now, because it's easier for us to kind of eliminate this, not really focus on it right away. Hey, you know who you are if you're trading a stock on a 5 or 10-cent spread. You're either a level 4 or 5 trader that's consistently making like $500, $1,000 a day, or you're someone who likes to gamble and you're not consistently making income. Hey, that's just the bare truth of it, folks. That's why I'm telling you, I'm following GOTU. I'm following ChargePoint. I'm following Rivian, CDXS. The other one that I just added to our watch list, that looks a lot better, right? We are not here to play casino. So I know that everyone knows that abstractly, but it's just to kind of bring it up more bluntly so it's easy for you to say, okay, that's right. Let me set my stop here. Let's be very responsible with our trading, not just normally responsible, right? Because any, slip of the mind, any look the other way, if you start losing track of your trades, that's how you end up on the wrong side, or at least making a grave mistake that can cost you. So we don't want that to happen. And with that, starting to stick with the watch list. So Damon says actually at the end a few minutes ago, I was just gonna get back to this here. WSO, it's got potential, way too expensive for us here, Damon. Pass, hard pass. All right, so folks, hey, we are going to finish up for right now. I like what we got. You know who you are as a student as far as following our watch list and looking to make money with us going forward. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, be a friend, tell a friend, spread the good word of Cyber Trading University at Cyber Trading U. Make sure that you are followed and subscribed so you know when we're going live with our streams, with our meetings and workshops. But if you're interested in joining our live trading room, just scan that QR code. If you're fancy with your phone, as I always like to say, with your phone, with your camera, just scan that QR code on the top left, get you access to our live trading room, to our instructors like myself, Rich, the man himself, Fausto, obviously, and of course the whole camaraderie of our main chat board with our students. Grant, Brian, Kathleen, Robert, Linda, John, Michael, etc. All of us here. All right, folks. But hey, best of luck trading going into the market close, and I'll be in the chat board up until 3:30 as always. Take care.